Hey you guys, what's going on everyone? Welcome to my channel. My name is Kia. Welcome back to my tribe. Okay you guys, so I made this video 3 times today. Well, this is the 3rd time. So I went live earlier and the video was lagging, so I was just like, I'm gonna just remake it because I just don't like a lagging video. So this video, you guys, is a reaction to the Dr. Green's situation where he did a virtual traffic court while he was scrubbed into the OR, and I'm just gonna give my take on it. So I'm gonna watch it. I've already seen the video that I'm about to show you guys, but I'm gonna watch it just so I can make sure to stay on topic. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug in the video
for attending virtual traffic court
and we're gonna watch
operating
this together,
on a patient. The judge in disbelief, calling it inappropriate and stopping the proceedings. Will Breed joins us now with more on this. Good morning, Will.
Good morning, Robin. It feels like it could be a scene from a movie, but this is real. The surgeon literally multitasking. At one point, you could see blood on his gloves mid-operation while on Zoom. The judge rescheduling that court appearance to a later date while the medical board is looking into it all.
Are you available for trial? It kind of looks like you're in an operating room right now.
I am, sir. I'm in the operating room. Yes, I'm available for trial.
This morning, a demand for answers after a plastic surgeon was caught on camera zooming into traffic court while operating on a patient. The judge presiding in disbelief.
So unless I'm mistaken, I'm seeing a defendant that's in the middle of an operating room appearing to be actively engaged in providing services to a patient. Is that correct, Mr. Green?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Scott Green sworn in by the clerk with blood on his surgical gloves.
Do you solemnly state under penalty of perjury that the testimony you provide today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
The Sacramento-based surgeon at one point appeared to be focused on surgery, his head down with medical equipment beeping in the background.
Hello?
The judge, not comfortable with Green's multitasking, requesting a date change for the court appearance.
I do not feel comfortable for the welfare of a patient if you're in the process of operating.
But Green insisted he was fit to continue with both the operation and the hearing.
I have another surgeon right here who's doing the surgery with me, so I can stand here and allow them to do the surgery also.
Not at all. I don't think so. I don't think that's appropriate. We want to keep people healthy. We want to keep them alive. That's important.
Now Green could face legal action.
With respect to his medical license, the issue is whether there was a violation of the standard of care. Additionally, the patient might have their own lawsuit for medical malpractice, and the key question there would be whether the doctor committed negligence.
The medical board for California telling ABC News it is aware of this incident and will be looking into it.
So back to this Dr. Green video and my take on it. So as you can see in here, the judge, to me, you guys, the biggest thing is, and I talked about this on the live stream that I had done earlier on this topic, but the doctor and the judge both have these like jobs that have egos involved with them. The judges get to do, you know, they dictate how people's lives are affected. So if you get in trouble, you know, and you got to go to court, the judge has the capability of putting you in jail for years, you know, life and all that stuff. So, and then you got a plastic surgeon over here that also has an ego involved. So we have to understand that egos are at play here, because the thing is, when you got a judge that thinks that he is running the show, or he is actually running the show at that moment, he's in the position of authority. And then you have a physician, a surgeon, that's also in a position of authority. The judge not understanding really what's going on in the OR and how the OR operates is very apparent, because he's just like, you know, we're trying to keep people healthy. And I don't think Dr. Green at no point was trying to put his patient in danger or neglect his patient or anything like that. Like I stated in my live stream, I feel like Dr. Green is used to functioning at a high level, and so because of this, he is used to multitasking, and so is the judge. Let's not get it mistaken that judges don't multitask, even though they still have people's lives in their you know, they can affect people's lives just as much as a physician. The difference is, you know, in the medical world, you might end up dead right then in the jail. You might have to go to jail and other things happen, which can lead to a very like hard life or death, depending on, you know, what you go to jail for. So both of these professionals have these jobs where they have people's lives in their hands, and they can affect the outcome of people's lives. So I think if we understand that for a minute, then we can understand, you know, what's really going on. Dr. Green, to me, like I say, you guys, I'm not on the board of medical doctors or anything, the surgeons or anything like that, but I don't see him leaving his patient. I don't see him not being attentive to his patient. So negligence is not on the table here. What could be on the table is the fact that he should have taken care of this on his personal time, because this is a personal issue. So that's what I think we should probably address. Not so much that should the patient sue him. The patient might end up suing him, but the patient only would sue him because right now society is saying that you have a right to sue this man because he was taking a virtual traffic court while he was doing surgery on you. But realistically, the patient was getting more attention than the judge, which is why I think the judge got irritated. I think it didn't have nothing to do with the fact that I think the judge felt that Dr. Green was arrogant for even coming on the virtual traffic court in the OR. But not only that, he didn't give him the attention he was needing. And then they want to talk about blood on his glove. We don't know what procedure, for one, that Dr. Green was doing, and for two, we don't know where they're at in the procedure. And as he stated, there was a whole nother physician in the room with him when he was doing the procedure. So I don't think that Dr. Green was leaving his patient unattended or in any type of harm's way, because also, as I stated, they talked about the beeping of the noise in the background of the monitors. And if you are part of the surgical team like this, let's understand that there's a surgical team here. This is not just Dr. Green doing this all by himself. At the head of the bed, and the person who is monitoring the monitors, or who is monitoring the patient, is an anesthesia provider, whether it's a nurse anesthetist or it's an anesthesiologist. And so the patient's monitors don't have nothing to do with it. And this is why people need to stay in their lane. Like, okay, if the judge felt like, you know, he wanted to cancel the case, then okay, whatever. But it ain't have nothing to do with, excuse me, Dr. Green's procedure and the patient well-being. I think he was just caught off guard by the fact that he really did try to on the virtual traffic court while he's scrubbed in. But these doctors have so much going on in their day that they're under like so much pressure, and they're functioning under this amount of pressure. So he didn't probably realize that to other people that don't know how the OR works, how they may perceive him, like, you know, going to traffic court. I don't think the judge was really aware of, or is aware of, how the OR goes, and the fact that he's able to multitask, because the surgeons do multitask. The surgeons do consult with each other during cases. They might get on the phone with, you know, a person or whoever. Like, they have other things going on, so they do multitask at times. Now, if the multitasking is going to put the patient in harm, there are like 4 or 5 other people on the team that's going to stop the doctor. So everybody on the team, on that surgical team, was okay with Dr. Green doing that Zoom call because the patient was not in danger. Like, let's not blow this up or make it overly, you know, what it is at the end of the day. I just think the judge didn't get his, you know, he was surprised that Dr. Green did this, and two, Dr. Green wasn't really at certain points giving the judge his undivided attention. And it was traffic court, so Dr. Green probably thinking like, this can't be that serious. Like, in his world, it's not that serious. I can just listen in on it. And so the judge took offense to that. I think is really what it boils down to. And because America, and you know, the media, excuse me, likes to over exaggerate things, I think that's what happened to you guys. I'm not trying to downplay anything here. I'm just trying to let you guys understand how the OR really works, and why I don't see anything. I don't see neglect in this. I'm not gonna say I don't see anything wrong with what Dr. Green did, because he should have taken care of his personal business on his personal time. That's what should be addressed, not the fact that he is possibly neglecting his patient. He didn't neglect the patient. I'm gonna put what neglect is in the medical world on the screen so you guys can understand. Neglecting is leaving your patient unattended where they are not able to receive the same standard of care that you would be able to provide. Also, as you can see in the definition, it says the care rendered causes injury or damages to the patient, and it doesn't seem that Dr. Green's patient was injured, so no negligence. That's neglect. So like if I was scrubbed in with this doctor and he left, then that's neglect because I can't give the patient the same standard of care. But if Dr. Green left and there's another physician, another plastic surgeon that has the same certifications and criteria as Dr. Green, it's not neglect. Even if that was Dr. Green's original patient, as long as the other physician is on the consent, it's all good. And so that's what I don't think people really understand. It is shocking, but it's only shocking because we're in a new time right now and people are trying to figure out what we can and can't do with this coronavirus, the pandemic, and things like that. Dr. Green, I'm pretty sure, didn't put his patient I didn't see any patient HIPAA, any information exposed. I didn't see any of the patient exposed. So we don't know who the patient is. Not only that, I didn't even see anything identifying what medical facility it was at. So I don't really see him doing anything besides he did something that should have been taken care of on his personal time while he was clocked in. So that's what should be addressed. Not all of this other stuff. His license shouldn't be in question. He shouldn't be getting this type of backlash because it was different when you had that one doctor that was twerking and stuff with her patient exposed and stuff. Like, that's different. This, what Dr. Green did to me was not, I think he just didn't think that it was gonna be such a big deal because everything is being done virtually now. And if it's virtual, why can't I do both? And I can almost guarantee you that he probably ran over in the OR, which is why he ended up having them do the Zoom meeting. He probably didn't have really any intentions. I don't know this. He might not have had no intentions on really doing the Zoom traffic court in the OR, but because the case could have went longer, he ended up doing it. Like, they're really not giving enough context on it, and I know people are like, he still shouldn't have been in the OR. He shouldn't have been taking care of personal business while he was working. No, that's true. But they multitask all day, and sometimes it be multiple multitasking. People come in and ask them surgeons things while they scrubbed in. Their pagers go off while they be scrubbed in. They have to respond to the pagers. Their phones ring. They have kids and all this other stuff that require their attention just as much as the patient, which is why there's a team in place. It's not just Dr. Green doing it by himself, right? There's a whole team. You have an anesthesiologist or anesthesia provider. You have a surgeon. You have a first assistant who can be a physician, a nurse, or a scrub tech, or a PA who is capable of also letting the doctor know, like, this is dangerous for the patient. You got a circulating nurse that is going to tell, that is the patient advocate. So if you really, not to say that, because we're not going to shift no blame here because it's a team, but if the patient was really in danger, the nurse was going to say no. You got the nurse and anesthesia that is on this team that's patient advocates just as much as the surgical tech and the surgical tech and the first assistant. Everybody there are patient advocates. So we have to understand that. And if the circulating nurse or the anesthesiologist or nobody else on the surgical team saw anything wrong with Dr. Green doing the Zoom call, then this shouldn't be an issue because the patient was, I'm pretty sure, at the forefront of that discussion. Like, they not just letting him hop on a Zoom call with this patient, vital signs dropping, blood going everywhere, or if it's a super complex case where it's some counting involved. Like, the case seemed very straightforward and simple. And because of that, and I'm pretty sure it was because it was a simple plastic surgery case, Dr. Green felt like he was in his capacity to be able to take care of his patient as well as attend traffic court. And I think the judge, I really feel like the judge took it out of proportion, and whoever, not only did the judge take it out of proportion, whoever leaked it like that, even though it was supposed to be public information, is what they're saying, because of the pandemic, is being broadcasted on YouTube, which is just baffling to me. But now Dr. Green is going to get this backlash because, you know, people are not aware of how the operating room works. It's people in the hospital that don't know some of the stuff that go on in the OR, because it's, you know, it's one of those, like, it's a room, it's closed off, and it's a team in place to make sure that the patient is not violated, and that the patient also is not in harm's way. And that patient was not in harm's way, you guys. Like, when we see blood on his hands, he could have been wiping the patient off. He could have been putting dressings on the patient, you know, like bandages, I should say. So we don't really know. And before you out here, like, you know, judging Dr. Green, excuse me, be aware of the media and the fact that it is manipulating certain storylines just to get the views. This man is doing what most physicians do. If he would have had his patient in the background and all of that other stuff, I wouldn't be on here explaining this to you guys. But people surprised, and I'm just not surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm just, what I'm surprised about is how surprised people really are that a physician decided that it was in his patient's best interest for him to stay scrubbed in, because let's just say he felt like he had to stay scrubbed in to a certain part, but he also didn't want to miss his traffic court. So that's what I'm gonna say happened. And his day probably was backed up. Like, if you in the OR and you work on the surgical team, then you already know your day. You could schedule an appointment, you think you're gonna be finished, and you don't be finished because the first 2 cases went longer, or, you know, whatever happened, and now you finna miss traffic court. And so I just think it's unfortunate that Dr. Green is gonna get this backlash, and all these people are gonna be out here like assuming that he's not responsible, when I think what we looking at was him trying to be responsible. And the fact that he is a surgeon does come with this level of arrogance, and not to dismiss, you know, the patient's need, but you kind of need your doctor to be a little bit confident, I guess. That their confidence is borderline like arrogant, because they're high functioning people, you guys. It's just period, point blank. They deal with a higher level of stress on a regular basis. So sometimes what seem, you know, like a lot to us may not be a lot to somebody that is on a regular thinking of such complex situations. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I got for you in this video, you guys. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell me what you think. Do you think Dr. Green was out of line for I think he was out of line for taking care of personal business during work time. That's what I don't think. The patient was neglected. I don't think it had nothing to do with really anything besides the ego of the judge as well, because they not exposed to what the surgeon is exposed to when it comes down to multitasking. Like, his multitasking might look like him being on the phone or doing other things while he's scrubbed in. We don't know what the judge multitasking look like and how that could affect some of his you know, the inmates that see him throughout the day. So if his multitasking doesn't affect his decision making as far as the inmate population go, why should Dr. Green's multitasking affect his patient care, unless he was doing something blatantly dangerous, and he wasn't? So that's all I got, you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.